Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Kirschmeyer. I'm the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator with Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. And today I am very thrilled to have Lynn Oswald with me. And she is the Director of the Niagara Small Business Development Center. So welcome, Lynn. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
First, can you just share what the Small Business Development Center is?
Well, we are a not-for-profit organization. We've been around since 1984, and we provide free one-on-one counseling assistance to small business owners. We're an SBA resource partner. We also receive funding from SUNY, and then we have 24 centers across the state of New York, and then there's even centers across the entire U.S.
A lot of people, when they're trying to figure out what to do with their business or even just make change in their business, it all comes back to that business plan. And they want to know if that is still relevant. So are business plans still relevant?
Oh, for sure they are. And we at the Small Business Development Center, we love to discuss business plans. You'll read a lot of things online, people selling books and the latest techniques, and you don't need a business plan. They're dead. That's an old format. And when you look at what they're creating, it is the same content. They've just kind of moved things around a little bit and called it something new, but it really is a business plan. And they're so important because we need to plan major life events. We plan weddings, we plan vacations, we plan going to college. Why wouldn't you want to have a very good plan for a major decision like opening or expanding a business? So they definitely are still relevant.
Going on with that, what goes into a good business plan? What are your suggestions for that?
Well, that's a big question because there are a lot of elements, and it will depend on what you want to use the plan for. We always like to start with a SWOT analysis where you're looking at your strengths and weaknesses. Those are things you have some control over. And then you're looking at your opportunities and threats, things in the external environment that you need to be able to jump on as an opportunity or deal with as a threat. And I sadly, we're seeing the biggest example of all, a threat you cannot control as businesses deal with the current pandemic. But the SWOT is a great place to start. And then you're telling your business story, basically. Why is your business feasible? What will it entail? Who will be involved? It's a complete story. And if this is something to just keep you organized, it may be a simple outline. But if it's something that goes to a bank or to someone providing you funding, it's going to be much more developed, and it's going to show why you, this owner, can either run this business, expand this business, use this funding you're seeking to really make your business successful. And so that includes a lot of elements. And we do help with putting that together, but we definitely cannot write that for them.
That's going to be my next question for you, is when it comes to writing the business plan, is the owner expected to write the whole thing? If they need help with it, can they go to you for that assistance?
Yeah, because when you are going to a bank and they're reading through your business plan and they ask you, what is on page 5 and what do you mean by this? And you sit there and say, well, I don't know, someone else wrote this for me. You immediately put yourself in the wrong position. You don't look like you're in charge of your business, and you don't look like you know what's going on. So the owner definitely needs to be very involved in the planning process. Now, we can help make sure the content is complete and in a great order. We'll help make it sound like that story that you want it to be, and we will definitely help with the financial projections. That's a key section. That's creating your budget going forward and showing that not just to the bank, but to yourself, the numbers make sense. Because why go through all of this if the numbers just don't make sense? You're not going to make money. You're not going to make a living off of this. You don't want any part of that, and the bank certainly doesn't want any part of that. So definitely the owner has got to be involved.
When the business owner is approaching a bank or even SBA, what are some other factors that they're looking for?
Well, the bank wants that great business plan, but that's not going to solve everything. They are going to look at the owner's credit score. Typically 650 and higher is the range that they want to see. And even for our established businesses that may be opening a second location or buying some equipment or doing a business plan for an expansion, they still look at the credit score. no matter what, because you and the business are one and the same, even if you've incorporated. So the personal credit score is very important. The owner's experience in their field is very important. So you want to make sure that business plan really shows that you have some experience, training, networks, everything to show your character. They want to see that the industry is healthy and that you know your industry. How competitive is it? Is there a niche big enough? Is your niche big enough to support the business that you're creating? So they're definitely looking at that as well. And they want to make sure you can repay the loan. So that's where those numbers, those pro formas are so important. Will the business make enough money to pay back the debt?
If the business is denied their loan, what next steps could happen from there?
Oh, and that's a frustrating thing. People, it's devastating when you put your heart and soul into this business plan and then you go to the bank and they say no. But it isn't the end of the world. And quite often it's an important step because the bank will typically tell you why they said no. And if it is credit score, then you got to go and work to clean that up. You can fix a credit score. It takes time, but you can do it. If they don't see that you're investing enough in the business, and I didn't mention earlier, but they'd like to see you investing 20 to 25% of the project. So if you don't have enough skin in the game, then you have to go back and save up some more and then reapply. If they see an issue in the business plan, then it's time for you to look at the business model. Is the rent at the property I'm looking at too expensive? Is my pricing not making sense? Is my marketing too limited? The bank saying no is not the end of the world and is usually an important step to fixing your idea, making it more feasible, and then reapplying. We've had many people that have been declined and then later reapplied. Or they went to a different bank. If a bank has been working with too many restaurants and their portfolio is full of restaurants, they may have said no to you simply because they just can't take on any more restaurants. So if you get the no, don't take it personally and find out why you were told no, and let's tackle it and try again.
That's a great example of perseverance too.
Yes, definitely.
You've had a lot of great information for us today, but are there any other areas of expertise that the SBDC provides that you can help business owners with that you would like to share?
Oh, I could spend hours talking about the SBDC. I just love what we do. So we are, as I said earlier, a grant-funded organization, and it is our goal to get you as prepared as possible for whatever stage of business you are in. So one of our key components is a research network. We have librarians in Albany that will do all kinds of demographic and industry research for us. They can create company lists that you can market to. They can find out where your customers are by doing sales searches by zip code. There's just so many things that they can do, so many databases and industry materials that they have access to. And if you're our client, we can order that information for you and there's no charge. So research is a big part of what we do. We also do help with budgeting, helping you figure out what the numbers will look like going forward. We love to talk about social media. We love to talk about procurement. If you are a business that would like to learn about selling to the government, we have information on that. And I know I'm forgetting so many things, but we can help with MWBEE certifications. So that's Women and Minority-Owned Business certifications. We can help with training. So we currently have started it's an 8-week training program where we have 7 remaining. Tomorrow night will be our second class. And if people are interested in learning about that free training, it is at niagarasbdc.org, and they can learn more about what each evening is about. And that's a great training in the fact that we're doing it as a hybrid. So we are doing it in person here on campus following social distancing protocols, but we're also running it as a webinar. That way people can pick the format that works best for them. So the only thing we don't do here at the SBDC is talk to you about legal stuff. We're not lawyers, and we won't do your taxes because we're not CPAs. But everything else we would love to talk to you about. And then we can help you get connected with other great local resources, government entities, organizations that can also help your business, because we try to stay very connected with our SBA resource partners, the Women's Business Center, SCORE, and with all of the other resources in our area.
You plugged your website just about a minute ago, but if anyone is also watching this webinar and they're not necessarily from Niagara or Erie County, where else could they get information about small business development centers in their area?
Well, they can give us a direct call at 716-210-2515. If they are watching you, because I know the BBB covers nearly all of New York State, and you have a partners with the downstate BBB, if they want to reach out to a local SBDC, which we highly recommend, they go on to nysbdc.org. They'll see a map of New York State, and they'll be able to click on an SBDC. There should be something within 30 minutes. We've really tried to set up an offices all across the state so that no one has to drive more than 30 minutes or so to find an SBDC. We are meeting mostly virtual right now, but if you truly need an in-person meeting, we can set that up. We can set up a Zoom call such as this. So we definitely are there for you. We've been functioning through the entire pandemic. We've been really working people through the EIDL and the PPP stages for funding. And right now we're kind of in the what's next and how do I plan going forward stage. But we are here for every stage of your business.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. We love working with the BBB and all the programming that you do. So we're really glad to be part of your podcast.